welcome. My name is John Cottrell, and this is Power Hour. This is a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice. So glad that you're here. So in our practice today, well, let me just start by saying some of you may know that I really like hip openers in our yoga practice, and there happens to be a lot of them. So I put together a yoga sequence with some more hip openers, maybe some ones that we've done before, but maybe some new ones sprinkled in there too, or just a different way of doing them. And I have a featured pose at the end, and you'll need some specific props. So let's get into what we'll need for our practice today. So I'm going to recommend that you have some blocks, some yoga blocks, or something that's stackable, something firm and supportive. Some yoga blocks, they just come in handy for a lot of postures, okay? So have a couple of blocks or even books, whatever you want to use for that. And I also pulled in some other props here. If you can see them, they're behind me. But I've got a blanket, okay? So if you've got a blanket or a towel or even another yoga mat, this might come in handy for our featured pose at the end of practice or near the end of our practice. And then perhaps a big pillow or a cushion. This happens to be a yoga bolster that I have. And these are, the blanket and the bolster are optional items that you can use, but I find that these can be very helpful in the posture that we're going to be doing, okay? So if you've got something that like that, again, pillow, blanket, another yoga mat, towel, something like that, and then your yoga blocks. And of course, some bottled water, a strap, anything else that you like to use for your practice today. All right, let us now begin. So I invite you to stand near the top of your mat. You might stand with your feet about hip distance apart with your toes pointing forward. You might start with a few deep breaths. You might breathe in through your nose, and you can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. And do that a few more times just to reconnect to breath. A reminder that breath is the foundation of our practice. It brings us here to this moment, helping us to be fully present and connected. Breathing helps us to be still and silent. And soon breath will help guide and move us through our practice today. I've called this class Release Your Hips. So we'll do some hip openers today. Some familiar ones and perhaps some new ones. Continue with your slow breathing in and out, and feel free to do this with your eyes closed, helping you to move inward and stay more connected. You can certainly do this with your eyes open. Maybe you're gazing forward, or softening your eyes and maybe you're looking downward. Another way to help connect. Very nice. As you're breathing in, you may feel the breath rising upward, so take a full breath in. Feel that nice expansiveness in your chest and lungs. When you exhale, as you're able, draw your navel inward towards your spine. We're just connecting to our abdominal system. We're engaging our abdominal system, really connecting to your center body. So again, inhale, feel tall, proud. Breath rising, filling yourself up, even feel uplifted. Exhale, draw belly in, connecting, centering. Do that a few more times. Excellent. And just for a countdown, go ahead and take 3 more breaths, using these breaths to prepare your body to move. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Reach and stretch nice and high. Exhale, let's fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Then just make your way down towards your toes, maybe touching the ground. Just soften your knees. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs to extend your spine so you're flat like a table. And exhale, we'll fold once again. Let's pause here. Even hang heavily forward if that feels okay for you. Just put a little bit more bend in the knees. Hang forward, let your arms just dangle here, even give them a little movement, loosening up the shoulders, maybe nod your head yes, shake your head no a bit. I'd even invite you to sway a little bit left and right, to just be mindful of your low back, even in getting into your hips a little bit. And coming back to center, preparing to stand, but first setting the body up
We'll shift the weight back into the heels. Bend your knees. Feel like you're sitting down into a low chair. Look forward. This should extend your spine. Extend your arms out to the side, then stand up tall, straightening your legs, long torso. Then finish this nice, strong, straight line in the body by reaching up. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Pause here. Take another breath or two in stillness. Let's repeat that sequence. That's our half salute to the sun. Here we go. Inhale, reach out and up. And exhale, we'll fold forward. Deep bend in the knees, making your way down, perhaps touching your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up your legs, extending your spine, flat back. Exhale, let's go back down. Just a brief pause. You can go all the way down, soften the knees. Shifting your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, extend your arms out to the side, and press heels into the floor to help stand, straightening the legs, long torso, reach high through your arms, exhale, arms back down by your side. Excellent. Come back to stillness, hold here a little longer, returning to the awareness of breath, deep breaths in and out. That was our half salute to the sun. Let's continue. Sun Salutation Series A. Let's inhale, extend arms all the way up. Feel the lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, fold forward. Go at your own pace. Even if you're a little bit behind my instruction, that's okay. Inhale, let's rise up halfway. Feel the top of your head lead you forward. On your exhale, fold and bend. Bring your hands to the floor. We'll step both feet back to the back end of your mat until you're in a straight line. Plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. And this is downward facing dog. Feel free to adjust your feet. You might need to tiptoe forward a little bit, as I just did. I like to take my hands a little wider. That just feels better for my shoulders. So just adjust your hands and feet. Spread out your fingers, press firmly into the ground with the hands. Feel the energy through your arms, all the way up to your shoulders and upper back. And you can even gently sink your chest towards the ground or towards your toes, just to open up the chest a bit more. Knees can stay bent. Hips high, lengthening. Take a nice full breath in, preparing your body to move. On your exhale, walk, step, or even hop both feet up to the top of the mat to forward fold. Inhale, extend your spine. You don't have to come up halfway, just lengthen. And exhale, refold. And that might round your spine again. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up to standing, reach a little higher. And exhale, arms down by your side. Let's keep the body moving right into Series B of our sun salute. Here we go, reaching all the way up. Exhale, take chair pose. Let's pause in chair pose. Imagine you're sitting back into a chair. Weights in your heels, hips reaching to the back end of your mat. Let's inhale. Reach out through your arms. Exhale, diving forward into forward fold. Inhale, lifting up just halfway or extend your spine at this angle. Exhale, bend your knees, let the back round, hands to the mat. Walk, step, or hop both feet back, plank pose. Breathe in. When you exhale, bend your elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs as you lower your whole body in a straight line down towards the ground. Pull forward, then push into the ground. To straighten your arms, lifting your chest, you're facing forward. You'll end up in a back bend. Exhale, tuck your toes underneath you. Lift your knees, then hips up into the air, returning to down dog. Settle in, and we'll continue. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reaching long, straight line. Exhale, you're going to step your right foot to the top of the mat or near right hand. Turn or pivot left heel to the floor behind you. Put some weight back into that foot so you're firmly grounded. Extend your torso out over your right thigh. Then rise up, warrior one, looking forward, reaching both arms up into the air. Exhale, hinge at the hips, folding to bring your hands back down to the ground. Let's step back into plank pose. Bend elbows. Again, squeeze them in towards ribs for good leverage. Coming down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Pull forward, press down. Straighten arms, look forward. Long legs behind you, pointed toes. Upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift knees and hips. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up and back, reaching long. And exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor, nice connection. Feel grounded, extending your torso out over left thigh. Hinge from hips, rising up, facing forward. Reach up into the air, warrior one. Exhale, hinge and fold, hands down in front of you, onto the mat. Step left foot back, plank pose. Finish your sequence, coming down to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Heart open, facing forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold in down dog several breaths. Soft knees, hips high. Firmly pressing hands into the ground. Okay, we're going to take a seat. Feel free to kneel down to take a seat. Or you can exhale and hop forward, crossing your legs to take a seat. And then again, go ahead and roll down onto your back. I'm just going to adjust my mat here. When you lie down, go ahead and lie down flat on your back, but bend your knees and plant your feet into the ground. And take a few moments in stillness here, even a nice relaxed sensation in the body. And take a few deep breaths. We're going to move into bridge pose in a moment. Bridge is a back bend or a heart opener. But first, just take a moment after that opening sequence, just to take a quick break, reconnect. When you're ready, inhale to fill up your lungs. As you exhale, empty your belly as best as you can. Sink belly down towards spine as your low back presses into the floor, and then peel away from the ground, lifting your hips up into the air. Once lifted, perhaps rock your upper body left and right a little bit, getting your arms and shoulders underneath you to help open heart a little bit more. I like to bend my elbows at 90 degrees so I can have more leverage and support by pressing down into the floor with the arms. And I just feel more stable here, and I even feel a little bit more energized here. Heart opening. There's a sensation of the heart lifting up and moving over my chin towards the wall behind me. Meanwhile, thighs and knees feel like they're moving forward. So there is this movement in opposite directions, even though you're in a back bend. All right, wiggle your toes forward a little bit. Extend both arms up into the air. Slowly roll your way back down to the ground. Then extend your legs out front. Reach your arms behind you. Just get a little length in the body. And then hug both knees into chest. Hold here. Flex your feet. And then take knees and legs wide. Separate them. Okay. You're going to hold here. You're going to replace your hands kind of on the inner knees or thighs. Give them a gentle press downward, but at the same time feel like you're pushing the legs out to the left and right sides of the room. So outward and slightly downward to get a mild stretch in the inner thighs. Flex the feet. Imagine you were riding a horse. Okay, so you're straddled over that horse, but then imagine that horse has bicycle pedals. Okay? On the saddle perhaps, and you're just going to pedal. So let's just getting into the hips a little bit. So this is one portion of our hip release, and this is actually a little warm up for our featured pose, which will be near the end of the class. All right, not too long here. Come back to stillness. Hug the knees back together to center. Start rocking forward and back gently. And with a good exhale, rock your way up to seated so you can come to boat pose. You can do boat pose with heels on the ground or lean back a little bit so you can float the feet up like this. Shins can be parallel to the floor with flexed feet. Knees can remain bent, holding on to the knees to help extend the spine as best as you can. You can move further from this by releasing, freeing up the hands. You can even straighten the legs, but you can always go back to this more supported fashion. All right, we're going to move, breathing in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back into plank pose. Pause for a moment. Still feeling some good core energy, drawing belly button up towards spine. Even feel free to lift your hips a little bit so they're not sinking. We'll take a shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees a little. Send your hips into the air, down dog. Let's keep it moving. Inhale, extend right leg up. We're going to open up the hip here by bending the knee. Bring your heel down towards your backside. Lifting the knee up towards the ceiling, creating a mild rotation in the spine, but opening up through the hips. Hold. Press hands strongly into the ground so you feel supported in the upper body. Breathe in. Exhale to unwind it and step through. Right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel turns to the floor behind you. Find that balance. Torso extended over thigh. Inhale, rise up, first warrior. We'll open this up to warrior two. So your heart will open up towards the left side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. There we are. We're going to take the feet out a little wider. At least I am. I like to take my feet farther
or outward towards the edges of the mat, and then lunge a little deeper just to get that nice inner thigh stretch. This is one of my favorite poses, so I like to get that lengthening effect there. And then side angle pose, so reaching forward to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate your arms so your right hand comes down, left hand can extend up into the air. And a few breaths here. As far as this right arm, you can see there's no weight of this arm on the leg, so we can just rest very lightly. Any pressure you might add might be on the inside of the leg. So your straight arm might brace on the inner right thigh and give it a little nudge, feeling like your whole leg is actually moving towards the right side of the room. And at the same time, imagine you're wearing a belt and your belt buckle is moving towards the left side of the room. So moving in these opposite directions to get a little bit of a stretch in the inner thigh. That's that hip release. Breathe in. Exhale, we'll carefully turn. Bring hands to the ground. Let's step back, plank pose. Pause, hold, so you're realigning the whole body. We'll take a shortcut to down dog. Soften the knees, lift your hips into the air. Other side when you're ready. Inhale, extend left leg up, reaching long. Let's open up the hip, bending the knee, heel down towards backside, lifting knee. Doesn't have to lift too high. Even just a slight lift will create some release and opening in the left inner thigh. Again, pressing hands firmly into the floor so you feel well supported. Let's breathe in. Exhale to unwind it and step through. Left foot to the top, right heel turns to the floor, shifting weight back to balance. Extended torso, rise to warrior one, inhale. Exhale, turn your heart over towards the right side of the room. Arms down to parallel, warrior two. Arrive in the pose. Make any adjustments with your feet if you'd like. Again, I'm going to take mine a little wider, lunging a little deeper. I like to hold this posture as a sense of arrival in the pose, so you can really feel the power of it. And then side angle, reaching forward, angled upper body, rotate the arms. Same thing here, the energy is really up, so right hand reaching into the air, this left arm really not weighted on this front leg. The energy could be on inner leg, a little brace, a little press against the inner thigh, so it feels like your left outer thigh is moving towards the left side of the room. Again, the belt buckle pushing or moving forward towards the right side of the room. And you can certainly go lower by placing fingertips or hand on the ground or your stacked blocks. That's how the blocks can come in handy here. Let's breathe in. Exhale, we'll turn, fold and bend, hands to the ground. Step back, plank pose, hold. Strong straight line, hold. Bend knees, hips to sky, down dog, our shortcut. Nice long spine. Breathe in. And exhale, walk, step, or hop. Both feet return to the top of the mat to forward fold. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Coming all the way up to standing, reaching into the air. And exhale, arms back down by your side. Very nice. All right, give your shoulders a little shake, maybe your hands and wrists. A deep breath or two. Nice opening sequence, really getting the body in motion. We've already introduced some hip openers, some hip release. Let's do some more. Let's do some balancing here. So tree pose. I'm going to try to mirror you. So your feet are rooted into the ground. Good balance. You're going to start shifting weight over to right foot. Root down into the floor. Nice and tall, lengthened spine. Inhale. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. Once you're there, you're going to float the left foot up, flexing the foot as you lift so the leg stays strong, thigh is parallel to the ground, and swing the knee out to the side, placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. Then when you're ready, inhale, extend your arms up into the air, reach and hold, exhale, connect. There we are. There's our tree pose. Hold. Again, finding something out in front of you to focus on. You might even soften your eyes, looking down. Try to keep your head neutral, meaning your head is aligned to look forward. You can just drop your eyes, not your chin, just your eyes, to look at the ground, because that can help you with balance. Let's keep the arms extended, reaching high. Swing the left knee forward, lift your knee with the flexed foot for energy, plant the foot back down into the ground, and bring your arms back down by your side. Give them a little shake. Alrighty. Let's get ready for the other side, tree pose. First, find balance on 2 feet. Then start shifting weight over to left foot. Strong connection to the ground. Inhale, feel tall, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage your center. Peel the right foot up off the ground, flexing the foot for energy, thigh parallel. Knee swings out, plug it in, right there. Let's inhale, take the arms all the way up, reach high. Exhale, connect to center. And hold. Same thing, nice neutral neck. Head is forward. Look forward or just drop your eyes. Just your eyes. Focus on something on the ground. That can help too. Good energy in the body. There's a reaching feeling through the arms especially. Even feel like you're being lifted through the crown of your head. Meanwhile, your left foot is planted strongly into the ground. It's the same effect of the imaginary belt buckle pushing forward. In this case, your right knee is pointing to the right side of the room, or even it feels like it's moving towards the wall behind you, just to open up through the hips. Let's keep arms extended. Swing right knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Plant the foot, arms back down. Shake it out. Excellent. Alrighty. Let's go do a quick flow. We're going to come back up to a balancing sequence in a moment, but let's keep the body moving here. Mountain pose. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the sky, both arms. Exhale, sit back into chair pose or chair-like position. Breathe in, good extended arms. Exhale, diving forward, forward fold. Inhale, rising halfway or an extended spine is good. Exhale, bend your knees, round your back, hands to the floor, walk, step, or hop, both feet back, plank pose. Right away, bend elbows to lower your way down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Long legs, pointed toes behind you if you're able. Exhale, downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, extend right leg up. Quick bend and twist. And then unwind it, step through. Right foot to the top of the mat, left heel plants into the ground. Rise when you're ready, warrior one. Exhale, opening warrior two. Make some quick adjustments. Right away to side angle, reach out. Rotate arms, right hand down, left hand up. Inhale. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Stay in plank. I'm going to add a pose here. Right side plank. So right hand stays on the ground, opening up sideways like this. Now what you'll do, same thing. Imaginary belt buckle pushing forward. Left hip lifting up into the sky. Flex the left foot, lift it, bend the knee, turn the knee towards ceiling. Plant the foot or toes down on the floor behind you, helping you to lift a little higher. Really imagine or feel the thigh kind of engage in that left leg, knee pointing. It's kind of pointing to the back of the room there. Inhale. As we exhale, basically we're turning. This left hand will come to the floor, and that left foot you just step over and just come back to plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So we added a pose there in our sequence. Inhale, extend left leg up, bend and twist. Exhale, unwind, step through. Landing, right heel plants into the floor, extended torso. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, opening warrior two. Side angle. Reach out, rotate arms, left hand down, right hand up. Breathe in. Exhale, turn, return to the floor with both hands. Let's step back into plank pose. Pause. Left side plank. So left hand stays on the floor, opening up towards the right side of the room. Flex the feet. Belt buckle pushing forward. Lift the right leg, bend the knee, turn knee towards ceiling, plant the toes down onto the floor behind the left leg. It just gives you a little bit more leverage so you can lift. It's also a nice hip opener. Very strong posture here. Upper body strength, shoulder. Breathe in. Exhale. Turn. Flip that right leg around. So we're back to plank pose. Finish. Chaturanga. Up dog. And downward facing dog. Before we return to standing, let's do another pose here on the floor and move into pigeon. So go ahead and inhale to re-extend right leg up. Bend and twist. As you unwind it, bring right knee to the ground behind right wrist, angling the right leg. About 45 degrees is just fine for this. Doesn't have to be too much. Use the left knee and toes to shift the body back towards the back edge of your mat, centering yourself, but it also puts a little bit more sensation in the hips. This is the hip opener, so kind of lightening up the hands a little bit. Now, if you don't have to get too low. This is where some props can come in handy, like blocks or pillows or blankets. Okay, since we have the right leg in front and it's bent, you can use a block or rolled up towel, perhaps, and just tuck it underneath the right cheek so you have a little bit more stability there. Maybe another block or a pillow up front. So let's first lengthen through that left leg that's extended out behind you, reaching back, just using knee and toes to really extend it. And then even feel like you're trying to go forward, lengthening your spine. Crawl forward with your hands, keeping the spine and torso as long as can be, and coming down, maybe just to your forearms. Your head might be floating away from the ground, or even just rest your forehead perhaps on a block. Stacked fists works very well if you don't have another block, or all the way down to the ground. We'll hold here. A very common hip opener, wonderful because it hits many areas at one time. With the left leg, of course, we get the left hip flexor, and the lower abs, top of the thigh. With the right leg bent and underneath us in this way, right inner thigh, really depending on the angle of the leg too, so a right inner thigh stretch. Check in to see if you notice sensation in your outer right hip. I know I do. Alrighty, so it's really a good idea, if you're able, to hold this pose. I'd say, anywhere between 10 to 20 breaths. Slow, deep breaths, taking your time with this, so your body can do the work of releasing any tension or tightness. All right, a couple more breaths. Lifting your head, coming up onto your hands. Maybe just here. You don't have to be up too high, just away from the floor a little bit. If you've got a block underneath the right cheek, let's move that out of the way so you can actually sit down onto your right cheek. And let's bring the left leg all the way around. Just swing it around until we're facing forward. You'll need to adjust your body a little bit and come to Cobbler's pose. I like this because it's just kind of a realigning of the body. Because in Pigeon, you're working one leg at a time, essentially. Here, we're doing the same thing on both sides, so it's an evenness here. So sit up nice and tall. You can fold a little bit, but not necessary. Just nice and tall for that rebalance and centering. We're going to return to boat. So we'll start to lean back, keep the spine as straight as possible. As you lean back, the legs are less heavy, so you can bring the knees together, lifting the feet. We're not going to be here long, just an inhale. Lift, exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose, strong straight line. A shortcut to down dog. Let's do the other side. Inhale, extend left leg up, bend and twist. Pigeon. Exhaling to bring left knee to the ground, behind left wrist, angled left leg. As the right knee comes down, use the right knee and toes. See how my weight is forward? You can even see or feel your shoulders are right over your wrist. There's a lot of weight forward. You're not feeling this in your hips just yet, perhaps. But if you use your right knee and toes, and just kind of sending your body back towards the back edge, you see it changes the angle of the arms, less pressure in the hands, certainly more sensation in the hips. And this is where you can start using props. Your pillow, your blanket, tuck it underneath your left cheek if you'd like, bringing something out front for your head. So your right leg is still extending back just to get more extension through the right leg, and then send heart forward. And even feel like you're crawling forward, which automatically brings you downward. And your forehead can rest on a block, a pillow, stacked fists, and we'll hold here. Check in with the sensations in your body. And make sure you're accompanying these sensations and even your stillness with breath. As you're able, maybe you can crawl the right leg back a tiny bit more. It'll be very subtle.
Even lifting your head and sending your body, upper body, forward a little bit. Again, that'll be subtle, just to maintain some good length in the body. It might even bring some more sensation to those parts of the body that are working in this deep stretch. Now it's our right hip flexor and the left inner thigh, and perhaps even the left outer hip. Releasing hips today. Holding in stillness, deep breathing. Let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths, preparing the body to move. Slowly rising, not coming up all the way, just up onto the hands, lifting upper body a bit. We can start moving our props out of the way. Sit over to left side. This right leg will come around to the front. We're just realigning, rebalancing, and centering by coming to cobbler's pose or bound angle. You can hold onto your toes here, sitting up nice and tall. Hold here for several breaths. Again, this doesn't have to be a deep stretch. You just came out of a deep stretch. So holding here for realignment. And eventually returning to boat, so you'll lean back. Knees come together, lift your feet, boat pose. We'll inhale here, and exhale, cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back, plank pose. Let's come down this time, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice full breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of your mat to forward fold. Inhale, extending the spine. Exhale, refold, shifting weight into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, come to standing, reaching up into the air, and exhale, arms down by your side. Well done. Alrighty. Alright, I've got another balancing pose for you. It's going to incorporate a hip opener, and you may need blocks for this. Okay, something stackable. Several blocks just out in front of you. I'm going to face this way for this time. You can even bring in a chair. I do have a chair off camera, but you can bring in a chair and just use the seat of a chair, okay, for support. But we've got the blocks here. So I'm just going to place them in front of me here. Okay? So just follow me. So first, just a little softness in the knees. Start shifting your weight into your right foot. You're going to pick up the left foot, flexing the foot so you have about a 90-degree angle here. Flexed foot, strong leg. And you're going to kick like you're kicking a soccer ball with the left foot. Cross that left ankle over right knee or thigh. Then place hands on hips and imagine you're sitting back and down into a chair. Okay, right about here to begin with. Your hands are on your hips to kind of be aware of your hips. You want them to be aligned as best as you can, because that will help with balance. Even if you use your hands to feel like you're pushing your hips back to the back corners of your mat while you're extending through your spine. Now, the deeper you sit, the more sensation you might have in, at least for me, the outer left hip, but maybe the left inner thigh. And then you're going to reposition both arms in front so they're straight, but right along the shins. And you can be right here. Or you can go a little further and deeper. This is where the blocks or the seat of a chair can come in handy for a little extra support and balance. So we're essentially in a forward fold, or something similar to a forward fold, but you have this leg crossed. Really getting into the hips here. And using those stacked blocks as a way to support the balance. Now we need to re-engage. Pull belly in, engaging. Pressing right foot strongly into the floor. You might even bring both hands up to this crossed leg to help lift yourself up. Swing arms out and up, standing up tall, uncrossing the leg, lifting knee, flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground, arms down by your side. Alrighty, so that's a lot. Just standing on one foot, leg crossed, and folding forward.
All right, we'll do the other side. I'm just going to switch directions and move my blocks over here. So nice and tall. We'll start by putting a softness in the knees, shifting weight into left foot, picking up the right foot, flexing the foot so the leg is strong, thigh parallel to the ground. Soccer kick, cross ankle over thigh, place hands on hips, and sit back slowly into your imaginary chair behind you. So we're essentially bending the left knee, hips are going back, heart is going forward. Use your hands and feel like you're actually moving your hips to the back corners of your mat, heart going forward. You can stay just like this. If you can go lower, you might want to bring the arms in front, straight arms, pressed against the shins, and maybe slide down a little deeper. Maybe touching the ground, using stacked blocks, or if you're not down that low, hands can be on the seat of a chair, or maybe a wall, or just something that's in front of you. One last little suggestion here is maybe flex this right foot. Flex the foot. It just helps to stabilize this cross leg in its own socket here, giving you a little bit more stability as well. Just by holding this, wow, so much is happening. If you fold a little deeper, you might even get a little release in the low back. Alrighty, this is a long time. We're exhaling to engage belly. Starting to rise, even place hands on this cross leg to help press yourself up a little bit more. Take your arms out and up, standing up, uncrossing the leg, lifting knee, flexed foot, plant foot into the ground, arms down by your side. Very nice. Feel free to roll out the shoulders, and maybe the legs, knees, feet, and toes. Very nice. Alrighty. So our sequence, I'm going to move my blocks just so they're handy at the front or the top of the mat, just off the mat there, for that same balance. So we're going to do, I'm going to call this cross-legged chair pose. We'll move into that position. As we rise up and out of it, we're going to turn it into tree pose and then step back into a lunge. Okay, let's try that part of the sequence. Okay, mountain pose, starting just a slightly different. So we'll start with your arms. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, bring hands to hips, placing a bend in the knees. Hands to hips, bend the knees. Plant right foot into the floor or shift weight into right foot. Pick up left foot. Kick the soccer ball. Cross ankle over thigh. Take your seat. Cross-legged chair pose. So your hands are already on hips, maintaining that nice aligned hips. Hands or arms in front. Going lower if you want, touching ground or those blocks or something stable in front of you. Root right foot into the floor, core engagement because we're rising back up, both arms up into the air. Uncross the leg, lift knee, flexed foot, keep arms up, swing knee, left knee towards the left side of the room. Plant left foot on the inside of right leg, there's tree pose. Get tall, hip opener, moving your imaginary belt buckle forward. Now, swing left knee forward, lifting knee, flex foot. Bend the right knee, the leg you're standing on, hinge forward. As you reach out with the hands, kick the left foot back, step down into a high lunge here. Opening warrior two, side angle. That's it. Reaching up and down, inhale. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. We're stepping back into down dog, but you're sweeping the right foot back and up into the air, bend and twist. Pigeon pose, right knee to the floor, behind right wrist, angled leg. Left knee and toes crawl back. Now, we're just going to stay like this. Hands on the ground in front of you at this angle, like this. Nice and long, just for a few breaths. We're not going to hold here very long. Go ahead and sit over to right side. Bring left leg around to the front. Adjust your body. Cobbler's pose, so you can help extend spine. Lean back, knees together, lift feet, boat. Inhale, we're moving. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank. Right side plank. Belt buckle pushing forward as you open up sideways. Left hand in the air. Flexed feet, lift the left foot, bend the knee, turn knee towards ceiling, plant the toes down behind you. Push into the ground to help you lift. Mild hip opener there too. Back to plank, kind of flip it over
So your regular plank pose. Come down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Jump, step, or walk. Both feet return to the top of the mat. Inhale, extend spine and fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come up, reach high. Exhale, arms down to your hips. We're going right away to the other side. Bend the knees. Other side. So shift weight into left foot. Pick up right foot. Kick soccer ball, cross right over left. And sit back into the imaginary chair pose. Stay here or arms in front, going a little lower and deeper to get more into the hips. Remember to flex this right foot. Use the blocks, use the floor, use a wall. Feel grounded and connected, core engaged as you rise back up. Extend both arms up into the air, uncross the leg, lift knee, flexed foot. Bend the left knee so you can easily hinge forward, reaching out with the arms, extending right leg back. Land on your toes behind you, you'll be in high lunge. Opening here, warrior two. So right heel plants into the floor, warrior two. Right away to side angle. Rotate the arms. Inhale, reach high and low. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor, back to down dog. Sweep the left foot back and up into the air, bend and twist. And ready for pigeon. Bend the left knee, knee comes to the ground softly. Angle left leg, use right knee and toes to crawl back to find the centering and hip opener. We're just going to keep the hands here. You don't need to come up any higher, don't really need to go any lower. Just more of a focus on the hips and really and just about ready to get into the next posture. And this is probably what we'll do for the full sequence. We've pretty much put the full sequence together. Go ahead and sit off to the left side. Swing right leg around to the front. Aligned, balanced, bound angle, sit up tall. Lean back, knees together, lift feet, boat. Here, breathe in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back plank. Left side plank. Lifting right foot, bend the knee, turn knee towards ceiling, set the toes on the floor. Use the toes to help you lift. Nice hip opener there. A little bit more mild, certainly get the upper body involved. Breathe in. And our exhale to return to plank pose, strong straight line. Finishing your push-up, come down. Up dog. Downward facing dog. All right, take a pause. You're going to bring knees to the floor as you're able. Come to hero pose. Now we are going to go through the sequence again. I'm going to have a slightly different ending. Let me just go through it. Take a quick break. You can actually, if you can sit in hero, stay in hero, but if you need to, take a regular seat to get off of your knees and ankles. Get a sip of water. Let me just demonstrate this last little bit. So let me do right side plank. Here, lifting the left foot, bend the knee, knee turns towards ceiling, set the toes down behind. So we're here. Okay? Now as I flip, bringing left hand down, I'm going to take left leg up into the air like that and step through and come back to a high lunge. Reach high, nice and tall. I'm going to hinge forward about 45 degrees, bring hands to hips, stepping forward, and that's what's going to get us onto the other side, going right into a cross-legged chair pose. Okay? Alrighty. So we're all down on the floor at the moment. So let's go ahead and come back to plank. Join me in plank. Let's go through the sequence one more time. Jump, step, or walk, both feet up to the top of the mat on your exhale. Lengthening through your spine and your fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come to standing, reach high. Exhale, arms down by your side. Alrighty, excellent. Alright, so we're just going to go through the sequence again. I've added or I've changed the ending a little bit. Just join me as best as you can. We're going to start with the arms, but first, find stillness, find your breath. Here we go. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, bring your hands to hips, bend your knees. Put weight into your right foot.
Lift the left foot. Kick the soccer ball across ankle over thigh. Chair pose. Arms in front, going lower perhaps if you want. Nice cross-legged forward fold essentially. Engaging core so you can rise back up, arms up into the air, uncross the leg, lift knee, flexed foot. Bend the right knee, hinge forward so you can kick left leg back, set toes on the floor, high lunge. Nice and tall there. Opening warrior two. Right away side angle. Right hand down, left hand up, inhale. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Down dog, right leg up into the air. Bend and twist. Pigeon, right knee behind right wrist, angled leg. Crawl the left leg back. Get into the pose that feels right for you. We're not going any higher with the upper body or lower. Just staying here. 2 more breaths. Really settle in. I can really feel the sinking of the hips here. This is nice. And then sit off to right side. Let's bring left leg around to the front. Readjust. Cobbler's pose. Long spine lifting. Lean back, ready for boat. Lifting knees, lifting feet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, move. Cross legs, hands in front. Hopper step back, plank. Right side plank. There we are. Pelvis forward, left hip lifting. Flex left foot, lift that leg, bend the knee, turn knee towards ceiling, set the toes down. Lift a little higher. We're returning to down dog. So left hand comes down, left leg goes up. Behind you to down dog, left foot to the top of the mat, we're going to high lunge. Right here. We're going to hinge forward about 45 degrees, bring hands to hips. Shifting weight into left foot so we can pick up the right leg. Here we are, look. Bringing right knee and flex right foot forward. Kick the soccer ball, cross right over left. We're on the other side now. Arms in front if you want to go lower. Cross-legged forward fold for the hip stretch and that hip release. Core engaged, come back up nice and tall, reaching arms up into the sky. Uncrossing the leg, lifting knee, flex foot, bend the left knee, hinge forward, kick back, toes on the ground, high lunge. Opening warrior two. Side angle. Rotate arms, reaching high and low. Inhale. Exhale, turn hands to the floor, back to down dog, sweeping left foot back and up, bend and twist. Pigeon. Exhale, left knee behind left wrist, angled leg. Right knee comes down, find the center. Get into those hips. Stay high like this, angled upper body. The reason why we're staying here is that it keeps the low back kind of neutral. If you lift up higher, it'll feel more like a back bend. Sit off to the left side, swing right leg around to the front, cobbler's pose as you adjust. Sit up as tall as can be, then lean back, knees together, lift feet, boat. Inhale. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back, plank. Left side plank. Opening, feet are flexed, lift the right leg, bend the knee, turn the knee up towards ceiling, set the toes on the floor behind you, lift. Inhale, returning to down dog as we exhale. Right hand down, right leg back up into the sky. Right foot to the top of the mat. Listen carefully. High lunge. Listen. Hinge forward about 45 degrees. Bring hands to hips. Shifting weight into right foot. Just step forward, both feet on the ground. Nice and tall, extended mountain pose. Reach up into the air. And exhale, swan dive forward. That completes the full sequence there. Spine extension, exhale, fold, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose, come down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Well done. Okay, we're bringing the knees to the floor. Maybe back to hero. Here comes that featured pose. It's actually frog pose. Now I'm going to use my blankets, or a blanket here, and just opening it and just kind of making a T across my mat. Now you can just actually just turn sideways, okay? And maybe even fold the edges or the ends of your mat towards center. Okay, they're not going to meet in the center, but just something like here, and that's where your legs are going to go. Okay, I'm just doing it sideways so you can see me better, like this, and using the blanket for my padding. Okay, but you can even use extra padding if you're sideways on your mat. So basically, we're on our hands and knees, either sideways on the mat. Step the legs wide, knees wide, okay, on those extra pads. Flex the feet. You're just kind of creating these frog legs. I need to move my blanket forward so I've got a little bit more room. Like this. Flexing the feet, even check back behind you. But you're also checking for alignment. So the knee bone is coming directly out from the hip bone, and then a straight line down from knee to ankle. Okay, so almost a 90-degree angle here. And then we're bringing the upper body down. Now this is where that big pillow or cushion or some blocks or rolled up towels, whatever you have, can come in handy as a way to help support this posture. Because what can happen is you might feel like you're overstretching. If the legs can go pretty wide, and mine can, okay, to get that nice deep inner thigh stretch. But if you don't want too deep of a stretch here, bring something underneath you, and that's that big pillow or several pillows kind of tucked underneath you so that you don't collapse basically into the posture. So this is our version of frog pose. This is our featured pose today. So nothing too strenuous really. We're dynamic. Only dynamic in the sense that we're paying attention, mindful of the inner thighs getting a release, but kind of in this relaxed position as well. And if you do have these cushions or pillows, you can just really kind of rest in this posture for a number of breaths or even a couple of minutes. Again, just like we held pigeon pose, we held in stillness, managing the breath, and just allowing the body to release. Excuse me. Let's hold here for about 3 more breaths. You're certainly welcome to hold this a little bit longer. And just join me when you're ready. So I'm just kind of propping myself up onto my hands, bringing the heels of the feet together because it takes the stretch out of the inner thighs a little bit. Start to rise up and just kind of start crawling the knees together underneath me until I'm up on hands and knees. And this allows me space so I can move my props out of the way. And then take a seat in the center of your mat so you can lie down. Let's go ahead and bring knees to chest. Some movements here. Let's take happy baby pose. So once again, just taking the knees wide, just like we just did in that frog pose. Now remember when we did the horse with the bicycle pedals? Okay, that was kind of our setup for frog pose. Alrighty? So of course being in frog pose puts more pressure on the knees, okay, the thigh bones, so it really stretches those muscles. Alrighty? So let's go to happy baby pose where the legs are wide but the feet are up in the air this time, holding on to the soles of the feet with the hands, gently pressing down so it feels like your knees are coming down towards the ground on either side of you. You can even add some gentle movements. A rocking left and right might feel good, or just hold in stillness. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Set the feet onto the floor. One last hip opener. Reclining cobbler's pose. We did a lot of cobbler's pose or bound angle. It's the same position. Bound angle and cobbler's pose is the same position. This is just the reclining version. Okay, just lying down. Hips opened, just like this. Couple breaths. And again, this doesn't need to be overstretched too. What you could do, if this feels like it's being pulled a little bit too much, then you may want to tuck something underneath the legs, like a pillow or even a block or a book underneath the knees, underneath the legs, so it doesn't overstretch. When you're ready, we'll add one more posture just for integrity here. Draw the knees together and in towards chest. Let's take a twist to both sides. We'll take the knees over to the left side to begin. Extend your right arm off to the right side. We'll take some breaths. Settling in. Beginning that process of relaxation. Hopefully that's been established. Knowing that we are coming to the close of our practice together. Stay here as long as you need. Getting that nice twist and stretch. Return to center. Hold center to realign and balance. And then off to the other side with the knees. Knees to the right, left arm to the left. Deep breaths. And of course, after these rotations in the spine, we'll come to Shavasana and hold in stillness. So whenever you feel complete with this second twist, you can return to center to align, hug knees in towards body. And then extend your legs out in front of you, Shavasana. We'll hold here. Since you may have some props nearby, like those pillows and blankets, use them here if you need them. Supporting your body, your legs, your head, your back. Elevate your feet if you'd like. So you can really feel the restorative quality of this pose so that you really do feel relaxed. So you can come to this place of meditation, even just for a few moments. Stay here as long as you'd like. When you feel it is time to move, rather than moving right away and too suddenly, start with subtle breathing. Maybe just slow breaths, 5 deep breaths in and out. Feeling movement return to your body. Taking your time as you move in slow motion, and roll onto one side of your body into a nurturing pose. You might hold here for a breath or two, longer if you'd like. And go ahead and rise up, taking your time. Come to a comfortable seat, perhaps with legs crossed. Sitting up nice and tall, lengthen spine, relax shoulders and arms, hands just resting in your lap or on your knees. Return to the fullness of your breath. And one more movement together. Let's inhale, extend both arms up into the air, reach high. And as you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Return to stillness, and return to the awareness of your breath. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow, saying, Namaste.